Today we'll be looking at one of the skills, which is a Detonate Dead, and we'll try to build around it. And this is one of the highest damage builds in Path of Exile 2. First item we are looking at is a Scepter. For Scepters we'll be looking at High Spirit, right? High amounts of mana, increase levels to minion skills, and we are looking at increase to minion life as well, because we are using part of our minions life to deal damage, right? So the second item we are looking at is Shredded Light. So Shredded Light is good because it provides 12 increased spell damage per 10 spirit. So this very good because if you are stacking spirit itself, you also gain increased spell damage. So for 300 spirit you gain around 360 increased spell damage, right? Third item, it's swappable with the shield. You can swap it with the shield if you want to. So this item itself provides around 25% chance not to consume corpses when you use Detonate Dead. And why is it good? When stacked with the tree, it provides around 75% chance. Stacked with the skill tree and the skill gem sacrifice, it actually provides around 75% chance not to consume corpses. And it can actually be up to 80% if you corrupt this item, right? And the skill that we are gonna use is Detonate Dead. It contains around like a good amount of fire damage, not so much. Most of it we will be dealing is based on the monster's health, but there are still skills that actually scale that damage, right? I can actually deal like a percentage of fire as lightning, right? So this is Detonate Dead, right? Up to 20% of the corpse maximum life as physical damage, right? We cannot really convert physical damage to chaos. So what we will do is to do something like gain how much of damage as extra elemental. And I tried wands like this, but they do not actually increase the damage by a lot. So what you want is just to keep the scepter and the shield usually if you want to deal the most amount of damage. If you want to actually be able to cast Detonate Dead without using a lot of corpses, then maybe you can swap it out for the wand. But this scepter and shield combo, it deals the most damage. So for rings, we'll be using maximum mana because some of our skills like mana tempers, they will provide additional lightning damage for us, and mana tempers and another skill which is Archmage, right? So having more mana actually helps in this case, right? So what this skill does is to actually provide 72% of damage as extra, lightning damage, right? So this actually scales with my original sin, and it scales with despair. So next we are going to look at what we have as well. So we are also going to use spark, we are also going to use sacrifice, and for my gloves I'm going to use Demon Stitcher. Demon Stitcher is good because it sacrifices my life to actually gain that amount of energy shield, and we do have a huge amount of regeneration. So Demon Stitcher works well with Azeri's Disdain, which actually allows me to gain 29% of my maximum life and extra energy shield. I think the max is 30%. It allows me to gain increase of rarity of items found as well. So now I do have like 700 plus energy shield, and with these gloves I just kind of gain back my energy shield whenever I cast spell, right? And that's very useful. And with my regeneration, it's just nothing, right? So my armor actually provides me with the most amount of regen. I do have flat regen, which is 34, and I do have like a percentage regen, which is 2.45% of life per second. And for my armor, I do have, increased life, increased spirit, which actually helps with the build, and reduce attribute chances. Reduce attribute requirements actually help with me to help me equip the armor itself, which is very useful. And then looking at the rings, we do have we do want increased life, increased life, increased mana, increased evasion, and maybe just a tri-rest, which actually helps us to survive. For belt itself, tri-rest, which helps us to survive, life, and maximum mana. Right, so, and for boots itself, same thing, tri-rest, maximum life, maximum mana, and also increased amounts of movement speed. And if you can get a corrupted 2 sockets, you can actually add more runes to it. Right, for our skills, we do use Skeletal Cleric, we do use Sacrifice. Right, so Sacrifice allows us to sacrifice our skeletal brutes so that they can cause an explosion. Corpse Explosion also works on enemies' corpses. So I wouldn't say we should just use it on our brutes. We can also use it on enemy corpses. And skeletal brutes are one of the minions with the highest amount of life, so we are going to use skeletal brutes and reserve 3 of them. Archmage also gain 5% of my damage as extra lightning. Right, per 100 maximum mana I have. I think I do have around 1002, 1300. So yes, 1280. So that's around 60% of damage as extra lightning, which is very, very good. Another skill that I have not been using is, I think, is Soul Offering, which provides me with maximum more spell damage. But I do use Despair, which actually reduces the enemy's resistance. Right, so I do use Archmage, Mana Tempest. I do use something like Flame War along with my Spark for clearing targets, or just just clearing easy targets. The damage on here is quite low, but because Detonate Dead, they don't really show the full damage itself, because it is dependent on the minion's life, and that's why it looks extremely low. But if you know how much life a minion have, you can roughly calculate how much damage it does. So we do want skills with increased minion life, increased skill effect duration, actually helps with the buffs and everything. And skill effect duration, minion life, right, same thing. Aerial effect of curses, skill effect duration, it's quite important. What we want to go for is also increase chaos damage and increase minions life, increase minions revive faster, and that's very important. And this meat recycling skill is actually important as well, right, because it helps us not use any corpses. Right, there's a chance for us not to use any corpses. Minions nodes with revive faster. All of these are very, very useful skills. Increase spell damage, increase mana regeneration, chaos, rough stats. We do need stats to actually equip our items. Revive faster, definitely. Right, and then we do have some nodes that actually provide us with life regeneration, and that really helps with the survivability. Right, and there are actually other skills in the tree which I'm contemplating on whether to get them. Those skills are the ones that actually increase my chaos damage, but I guess we'll focus more on spell damage, spell crit, because Detonate Dead does still have a certain amount of physical damage. So spell damage will be prioritized first. So we do go for spell leech, and what we can do is to go for infinite curse as well. But spell leech is much better right now. Infinite curse actually works well on bosses, and I will go for spell leech and the critical strike part of the tree, because critical strike it actually helps with dealing much more damage, and increasing my skill base crit actually helps increase damage by, it might actually double or increase my damage by a lot. Right, so I can use either this one with interchangeably with the shield, but mostly for clearing I feel that the shield is much better. For this build, it's unlike Path of Exile 1, so increased spell damage actually increases the damage of Detonate Dead. And of course, something we can use is Soul Offering, which actually provides us with more spell damage